We are not live. No, we're not, Gary. But hello. Here we are on YouTube for another tea time tutorial. Have you got your tea?
I got my tea.
I've got regular builder's tea today. I'm sure you've got the same.
Yes, I have. And you can see we've been slurping away already. I've only got like a quarter of a cup left.
I have to say, I'm looking at yours though. We have been slurping while I've been gossiping. You can't see in mine, can you? Look, they
I
look
can
about the
see
same
yours.
colour. Look at the same colour. I usually go very milky, very weak. Tea bag.
No,
Oh no! You see, I
no.
usually go very weak. I needed a strong tea today.
Yeah.
Strong, Gary. But anyway,
I
here we
like
are.
to taste the tea. I've got to taste the tea.
Yes. Yeah, if you dip it in, don't have much of a taste. But anyway, it's great to have a lovely cup of tea with you on this. It will be a Friday afternoon, unless, of course, lovely YouTuber, you're watching it on a Thursday, a Tuesday, a Monday, or another day of the week. And maybe you're watching it in 2 years' time. Who knows? But it's lovely to have your company. If you are a regular YouTuber, please do hit the like button. If you're not regular, please hit the like button. And please subscribe, share with your friends, and help us to get the word out there about our YouTube channel. If you want to have a look at the YouTube channel, you can see all sorts of playlists. There are some, I always call them serious things. I don't quite know what that means, but if you are if you're an experienced sewist, for example, you're looking for blocks or projects and things, all those videos are on the channel. There's lots of great interviews. But then our tea time tutorials is a time for you to have a little play along doing something perhaps you have never tried before. We always have a smattering of mindfulness, and then we have a little crafty project. Let us just show you the crafty project straight away. Gary, would you like to reveal what we're making today?
We are going to make. I'm going to put one up in the air and one on the table. Oh, actually, that one looks better on the table. Look how that stands out. So, and I can hold this one up. So we're going to make these like little decorations.
Christmas tree
really.
decorations. You could hang them wherever, couldn't you?
You could, and just getting ready for Christmas, really. So we're just making these. You can either put a paper clip, like a large paper clip, on the bottom, and it becomes like a sort of a skater boot, or without the paper clip, and it's just like a little elf boot. And you can.
Yes.
They've got a little gap in there. We put a little bit of wadding down the bottom if we want to, but it's got space to put sweets in. So we can put sweets in, and then we can hang them on the trees, and it can either be for us adults, or it could be for the little adults, the little kids, and then it's okay, you can go and have a sweet from one of the boots on the tree. So I think it's going to be an easy project.
If it's for us adults, Gary, you could maybe add a little miniature bottle in there.
Yes, you could.
Yeah. Can you imagine? So whatever you would like to put into those, we're going to make those in just a matter of moments. I'm very excited about it. But if you would like to stay with us for a bit of mindfulness, you can. However, there will be time codes underneath, so you can skip this mindfulness stuff and go straight to the task. I will say you can go now. And then for the people who are staying with us, let's do a little bit of, did you wave? Did you wave to the non-mindfulness people?
Bye.
We provide something for everybody in this channel.
With
the mindfulness, all we do is I give Gary a little quote, or he gives me a little quote, and we have a little discussion about what it means in our lives, because, life is hard. I'm sorry to say, people, it's hard, and no one's coming to save you. I know, you have to save yourself, and sometimes it is very, very difficult. So I've got a quote today. And, I'm going through a particularly testing time at the moment, Gary. When things just seem to come along and go, punch, 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 and you go, how many more? Hopefully I've had enough now, but it's been a tough time. So there are times that you have to sit up and do things yourself. But I saw a great quote today. Let me just put my specs on so that I can read it properly. It's from James Baldwin. I don't think that's one of the Baldwin brothers. I don't know who James Baldwin is, but he's a very sensible person, because he has said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. I know. So, Gary, what are your thoughts on that? Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until faced.
Yeah, so it's looking things straight on, I think, is what he's saying, isn't he? He's saying, like, look at them straight on. And some of those things, I suppose, there's no way you can change them, but there is possibilities to change some of it. So yes, I think that's a really good one. I mean, that really applies to so many things. We all put things off, or we don't deal with them. It's about dealing with things, isn't it? And until you actually attempt to deal with them, there's no chance it's ever going to get better, is it? Really?
No.
Or it's ever going to change.
Yeah, and do you know something? I think as well, Gary, that when it says, when it says nothing, there are some things that can't be changed. Now, I think you can say that of people. I think in our relationships in our life, there are people in our life who they cannot change, because I do think that we've all got our core programming and we grow up to be who we are. And yes, you can change your habits and you can change behaviors, but inherently, if you are this sort of person, you probably can't be changed. And some people don't want to change, or are not willing to change their behaviors or look at their behaviors, and that's their deal, that's their thing. And if they want to do that, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that you have to accept it. But I think, like it says there, some things can't be changed. So you can't change a person. For example, if you're having a struggle in a relationship, you can't change that person, but nothing can be changed until you face it. Because I think if you face it, you either then have to accept that person's behavior, or you face it and you change yourself and your attitude to it. And then it can be changed in your attitude. That's what it's about. I think it's about changing your attitudes. And that goes a long way.
So sometimes you might have to make a decision. So you either, like, it might be that you need to make a decision, and it might be you can't make that the thing in front of you change, but you can make how you approach that thing change. So are you going to just accept it, or say, no, I don't accept that, I'm going to move on in this direction? And that's the change. So that's facing the problem on in a, you know, if you're thinking about a relationship. But other things as well, you know, it might be that actually that you can't, maybe it's physically that you can't get to somewhere, maybe physically you can't get there for some reason. So you can't change that, but do you just say, okay, I'm not going to want to be there, I'm not going to keep harping on that I want to be over there, I'm just going to accept that I can't get there, so I'm going to send my focus somewhere else? Because I think it's about when you focus on something that you can't have, I think that's when you feel lack and you feel like, oh, everything's really bad. But if you move your focus away from the thing, it's not going to that's not going to happen. Just move the focus away to something else that possibly might happen.
Yes. Or that you can change something else, change your attitude. And then the thing that you can't change just sits over here, but you've turned your focus away from it. So that's very true. I think you have to face your issues, face your problems, face the things that are upsetting you, and then you either move away or you change your attitude and focus on something else. That's very true. I had a great quote the other day. It was from a Buddhist monk who said, when you're inside your home and you're in your bed and it's all lovely and cozy and it rains, there is nothing better than that sound, is it? We love it. Oh, it's so
lovely.
I'm in here, the rain is on the window. I love it. I love the rain. And then on another day, when you're due to go to perhaps a wedding and it's raining, you hate the rain. The rain is exactly the same. What you're doing is, you know, changing your attitude towards it because you're looking at the experience, but it's still the same thing. So what they're saying is that, you know, things stay the same, but you just have to change your attitude. So perhaps if you're going to that wedding, you'd have to remember that actually when you're inside and it's cozy, it's a beautiful thing. So it can still be a beautiful thing. You can still get an amazing picture of the bride and groom underneath an umbrella, looking cozy underneath it while this raindrops are coming down. You can all still go indoors and look at the rain on the window. It doesn't have to be that you're all outside on a hot sunny day. Go inside, make it cozy, enjoy that rain. Don't let that rain ruin your day, because on another day it doesn't ruin your day, you love it. So just change your attitude. You can't change the rain, but you're changing your attitude.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. That is it.
Lesson for the day.
Yes.
And it's currently raining.
Is it?
And I'm all cozy.
Not here.
But I've got some boots to make, so I'm going to be fine with the rain because I have my little booties on. Well, I'm not going to wear them. They're a bit too small. I've got small feet, but not that small. So, lovely, Gary, I think it's time to begin our crafting lesson. So,
time check. So, what we're going to be doing is these little booties. Now, I know that you will be able to access a pattern for these. So I've got there's a little pattern, there's a little bit of instructions here as well that we're going to put up online for you. So don't think, oh, I haven't got the pattern, so I can't make them. You can download this pattern for free so that you can make these also. What you need is obviously you need the pattern, or if you're confident enough, you could possibly cut these out yourself. You could make your own pattern and cut them yourself. But why do that when it's so much easier to use a pattern that I've created for you and then just download that, and then you can use that to cut them out. I've used felt. So we've got felt because felt's nice to work with because it doesn't fray and you can cut it in all directions. And so it hasn't got a what's sort of like a grain to it. You can cut it in all directions, and it's reasonably quite cheap, and it's great for crafting and things like that. I'm going to use a sewing machine. Rachel's going to use a sewing machine, but you'll see that it is quite possible to actually hand sew these as well. So you can do that. So what you need to do, and Rachel's got this because I've sent it to her as a little in an envelope. She's got the boot, and the boot is cut on the fold down the bottom here. So where you think the sole of the foot is, or the shoe, fold your felt in half. So when you open up, you've got a shape like that, really, a shape like that. So that's two sides of the boot. And then we've also then got like the little white. So if you look at this boot, you can see like the white turns over. So the white is attached to the top, and we're just going to turn that over. So that gives a nice little finish to the boot as well. And also we're going to stitch some laces on. I'm going to put a little tie to tie it with also. What you need to do first of all is you need to place your white tops to the top of the boot. So where the top along here. Now you'll see that is actually, I'll lay that in my hand. There's a short side, a short length, and a long length. It's the shorter length that is attached to the top of that boot. And if you find that it actually is more helpful so it doesn't move around, if you need to put a pin in just to hold it in place, you can do that like so. And then you can do that to the other side. So they're both, it's opened up. With felt, there's not usually a wrong side and a right side. So that's fine. It doesn't matter which side you place it on. But as long as you've placed them like that, like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run a machine stitch along the top here, which is like, I'd say 3 mil, a fraction, an eighth of an inch, just on the edge, just with the sewing machine. So just do that. And then I'll get you to do the same. So I'm just going to start us off. So I'm just going to go on the machine backwards and forwards. I always start off with a backwards and forwards stitch, so it's nicely locked. And then I can just stitch across the top there. And I'm going to just finish with a backwards and forwards stitch. So that just stops it coming undone, really. So I'm just doing starting and closing with a stitch. My stitch length is quite small, so I've just let the machine automatically sets itself about 2.5. So that one's now in place like that. I'm going to just turn around and I'm just going to stitch along this side, along here. So again, same distance, about 3 millimeters or an eighth of an inch, just to the edge. But I'm keeping the distance the same. I should have said that the thread that you should really ideally use in your machine is one that's going to match the majority of the color of the boot. So if it's a green boot, it should be green thread. If it's a red boot, it should be red thread, because you're going to have the stitching on the outside. Of course, I've only got white thread in my machine, and I've used that so that you can see where I'm stitching. But ideally, you should have the same. So, okay, so I've stitched them like that. So Rachel, your turn now to just stitch the little white bits to the boot. Let's see how we get on.
Right.
Okay. This is where it all goes wrong.
Camera into vision, so that people can see I'm actually doing it. So do you think
Brilliant.
that's about right where I've just pinned it there? Is that about right?
Well, I would say is the green and the white, is it edge to edge at the top there?
No, do you want to edge to edge?
It's edge to edge, yes. It's got to be right on the edge, edge to edge, and pin. And then you can just sew across there.
Right. Okay, so literally, there. Right. We're rocking and rolling. Here we go.
So think about your seam allowance, Rachel. So remember, the seam allowance depth is only 3 millimeters.
What,
so
you want
where
me to
you'll
be 3
need
millimeters?
So what?
You want me to be 3 millimeters?
Yeah, it should be 3 millimeters. Nothing. If you're too far in, you'll have a great big seam at the top there. You don't really want a big seam. It's only like an eighth or a 3 millimeters there. That's it. That's it.
You think that my control of my machine is getting so much better?
It is.
Now I have to do it with brown because I didn't have any green.
Okay,
but you know, it's fine.
Okay, so now trim off. So you can trim off your excess thread on that end.
I shall. Look at that.
Lovely.
Perfect.
That's good. Now the other side. Now you're going to do the other piece on the other end of the line that up. That's it.
Yeah, right. It's so funny working with these mini booties. They're so cute. Oh, I think I've stitched my thread in there. Never mind, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Don't panic. Nobody panic.
Right.
Right. Okay, cool. Julio.
Okay. Trim off your excess thread. Lovely.
Julio. Right, hang on. I'll just cut off my little threads. Right.
Lovely. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, so you've got, so I want you to have it so we've got the right sides together. So the seams like it folds over. So if you look on the seam, so I've got my seams like this, so I can see where you've got yours. So lift your little white flap up. This is the white, that's it. And then bring the other white flap to meet the white flap. That's it. Like so. If there's the little seam just where you've got the two joints, just make sure that they line up and push them down towards the heel of the boot.
Yeah.
And then just have a couple of pins just to hold that in place.
Okay.
Now, got another pin here so I can show you. I'll show you where we're going to pin round. Okay, so what you're going to sew, where we're going to sew is we're going to sew, if I bring this into camera, you're going to sew from this top edge. So you're going to do a backwards and forwards stitch to anchor that, because we're going to roll this rolls down in the end, so it rolls over. And again, same distance, 3 millimeters or 1/8 of an inch, all the way down to the heel, but stop. If you have a look at the original pattern, there is a little dot there. I would stop just before the end, because why you need a little gap, because you're going to slide your paper clip into that. And if you go,
I wondered how that was attached, Gary. That paper clip. Yes, I thought I was going to have to snip it with wire cutters. Right.
So, no, we don't need wire cutters. But you're going to stop just before, and you're going to come down this end. Then you're going to come, and then you can flip it over, and then you can just sew down the front side of the boot, keeping all the bits together. And again, just stop as you get to the sole about a couple of mil just before. So there's a gap there for you to put in. So we can both do this together. We can both just sew down the sides to the bottom of the heel, and then down the front to the front of the boot, but remembering to leave a little gap. Remembering when you do come to a stop, you're going to back stitch 1 or 2 stitches just so it doesn't come undone. And try and keep as neat as possible, because these stitches are on the outside of the boot, and so they are part of the decorative feature. We're not turning the boot inside out. So that's what you need to remember.
And was it all the way down the white side, did you say?
All the way down the white side. So from the top,
yeah.
And you're going to, and then back stitch as you get to the top, and then you're going to go all the way down, and then you're going to get to the heel at the bottom.
And we're not turning this boot the right way?
No. So the stitching is on the outside. So I'm going to just go back. I'll show you, because mine's in white, so you might see mine are just a little bit easier. So I'm just trimming up the thread. So here you can see I've stitched from the top, back stitched all the way down here, and just stopped a couple of mil from the bottom there. Okay. And just really neat and tidy all the way down.
Right. Wish me luck. I'm going in.
So I see you've got a ring to match the green fabric there, Rachel.
I've got what?
A ring to match. You've got your green ring on to go with the boot.
I know, my elf ring. Right, and then we go.
Okay.
Back stitch.
Lovely. Superb.
Okay, cool.
Up.
Lift that up.
Pull away and trim.
This is fun. Right, okay, cool.
Okay, right, so you've done that one. So now we're going to do the other side. You're going to go from the top again, back stitch to start with, come all the way down, round the foot of the boot, round the front, and we're going to stop just a little bit in front, just before the sole again. So we're going to do that one. Same distance.
Yeah, did you say we're turning over?
We're just going to turn over the top.
Yes,
so
that's
all we
fine.
do is
Yes, okay, so leave that bit. Okay, lovely. Right, okay. Now that's in. Oh yeah, so it goes either side, doesn't it? Yeah, because I want to go down.
Yeah. So this time you've got a bit more of a curve to go round. So you're going to have to slow down as you get round the curve of the boot at the bottom of the boot and round the front. So you're not going to go really, really fast. Just going to take your time.
Yeah.
And remember, you can just stop the machine and turn the boot as you come round.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, out of the way, Fred. Don't want you in there. Concentration on my face right now is absolutely intense.
I can hear the concentration. It's just like,
Honestly.
it's really like thinking as you're moving around, because you do, when you're going round sort of like round the front of the boot and round this curve, you do have to concentrate. You have to slow the machine down. You can't do it really fast, not unless you're really practiced at it. You have to really like slow down.
Yeah.
Great. And do you know what is nice as well, Rachel? Now you've done a little bit more sewing, you're not cutting that thread right at the needle. So then the next time you go to sew, it comes undone, or you keep having to thread the machine. You're pulling it away, you're trimming away from that foot, and so it always leaves you a nice tail to start again for the next lot of sewing. So
yeah,
that's like pretty good. You're getting there, professional, getting there.
Okay.
Right. So if you've got like maybe it's slipped a little bit or it's a little bit uneven, this is the point where you can just go in with your very light little scissors and just trim if you want to. But I think you did okay. I don't think it did slip at all. I think it looked fine. I think it was okay for what you've done. And it looks
not bad. I think
not bad at all. No.
Might have missed a bit on that heel there, but it's fine. It's fine.
What, you got a hole at the back?
I think I missed a bit there.
Is there a gap? Is there a gap there?
Do you know what? I'm just going to do. Okay.
All right. Lovely.
Yeah.
Super. Right. What I'm doing while I was doing that, I'm just taking the stuffing. Because I was just going to show you put a bit of stuffing in the bottom of the boot. So you only need, it could be cotton wool, it could be like a little bit from a stuffing from a pillow, but you can use that just to go into the bottom of the foot, so that the foot is just a little bit more three-dimensional than flat. The actual boot itself at this moment needs the top where the white is, that just needs to roll down. So you're just going to roll that down to the point where you can just see, if I show you there, where it meets the other colored fabric. So it's just going to roll down like so, like that. And Rachel, did you have any cotton wool?
I've got some cotton wool pads, but I think I've got something here. Hang on, let me just root it.
Have you got some wadding or something?
Yeah, hang on.
I'm going to get my tweezers so I can use my. Where have they gone?
Right.
So what you need to, so you roll the top of your boot down, and then you can use just a little bit. You only need a bit of wadding just to go down into the bottom, so the sole of the foot, really, to be able to just use that for. I'm just getting all the wadding out of here, so I can put that in the one that I've just made here, because you're actually probably more prepared than me, because I forgot my wadding. So I'm going to use the wadding from this one and put it in.
I'm actually just using, I've got a little bit of, it's not felt, but it's just, I've just found a
Oh
little
yeah,
scrap of something,
yeah,
which is a bit, it
perfect.
feels a bit like wadding actually.
So
So I've
just poke
just
that
shoved
in,
that
put it
in.
down and into the bottom of the boot,
Yeah,
like so.
yeah,
You've done that.
yeah, that's it. Okay.
Okay. And then I gave you a little bit of, well, it's a little bit of embroidery thread, like a bit of perlé. And we can use that to make some laces. So we can just put, what we're going to do is just put a knot into the perlé.
Well, now the thing I didn't do was get my needle.
Oh, you need to go and find a needle.
I have no idea where it's gone. No idea where that sewing set of needles have gone. Oh,
Have you found it?
no.
No.
I might have to come back and do mine later.
Okay, right. I will show on mine what we're
Show.
going to do. So I've got a length of just, it's, you want the thread to show up. So I've used like, it's just a white perlé thread, or it could be a DCM thread, anything like that. I put a knot in one end and I'm going to come down inside the boot and I'm going to come out just where, probably halfway down the length of the boot. And I'm just coming out to, I just want to come out to one side. I don't want to come through the middle. I'm going to come out to one side. And this is where we're going to just create the laces. So what we're going to do, we're going to come out, hang on, if I can get inside. This is probably the fiddliest bit. It's going to come out to one side, like so. And if you can see that, and then you're going to pull the thread through. Because I put a knot in it, it's not going to come through.
Right,
I
found my needle.
Hurrah!
Yeah.
Okay, thread your needle up.
Yeah, hang on, give me a second. Whew. Right, hold on a second. It's quite thick, this thread, to go through this needle.
Well, yes, you want quite a nice sort of like a reasonable size eye that will go through. Have you managed it? Sometimes if you just sort of like bite it on the ends, flatten the thread, you've got it through.
Right, so how much thread do I need?
Well, we do the same bit where it just goes past your elbow, not too long.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Put a knot in the end of it.
Yeah.
And now I want you to just come down inside the boot and come out halfway up the length of the front of the boot to one side.
Well, that's a bit tricky, isn't it?
It is tricky because you've got to put the needle inside.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're going to,
like that.
that's it. Perfect. That's fine. So now you've got to create. So if we look at maybe the red one here, you can do little crisscrosses. So go over, come and crisscross along, or you could just do little bands going across, which is like your laces. But if you feel confident enough to do crisscrosses, what you can do is go in and out a diagonal going down one side. So if you come in and out, across and diagonal down one side, like so. So I've got, it almost looks like it's just sort of coming across. And then you just repeat that coming up the other side. So you're going to just go in and out and create little crosses as you come up. And the cross should form on the seam. So just do little crosses up there. So whatever you feel confident enough to do, stitching. So you could have a couple of little crosses. You could, on these ones, I've done several little crosses on those all together, or you could just have little straight lines that go across. But it just adds a little bit more interest to the front of the boot and makes it look like a laced up boot. It makes it a little bit more interesting. When you get back to the top, what you need to do is you need to then just come out where you've gone in, go back in again, and come out through the top of the boot, through the opening, and then you're going to you're just going to put a little knot inside so it doesn't come undone. So you're just going to stitch a little knot, and you want the knot to be inside the boot so that it doesn't see, but it just stops it coming unraveled. So that's just inside. How have you got on, Rachel?
Well, I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest.
All right, let's have it. Have you done
Well,
crosses,
I
or are
was
you just
trying
going to
to
go?
do crosses and it's not working.
Yeah,
It's not working. So I've just got straight laces.
let's have a look. Fine, that looks okay. That
Well,
looks all right.
it's not
Fine.
fabulous. Okay, so okay, well, I'm just gonna leave it as a. I think this elf was a bit drunk when he laced his boots, so quite frankly, but it's okay. So I
That's
get to the
okay.
top.
Yeah, and then go back in through the inside of the boot.
Yeah,
Try not to stab your finger, and then
yeah,
you're going to come out,
yeah.
and you're gonna come out through that, and you're just going to put a little knot inside, so it doesn't come unraveled. So you're just going to knot it, the edge of the fabric inside. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, that's a bit fiddly because it's quite small to get your fingers in there to get it knotted. Then you need something to tie it, so we're going to have the tie. So we need the tie so we can hang it from the tree. And to do that, if you look at the back seam of the boot here, and you've got your thread in your hand, you're just going to put the needle through the top of the boot, possibly inside there at the back. You're going to just put it through once, but leave a long thread. So you're going to put it through, but you're going to leave a long thread here at the end, like that. You can just overstitch one more time. So just go through one more time, but this time pull the thread. So you've almost like you've got two bits there, like that. So you've gone through once, you've left a long tail, then you've just stitched again. You've held on to that tail and pulled it tight. So you're not pulling this little bit back up. And then you can just cut both lengths to the same length, like so. And then you can take hold of them, and then you can just put a little knot in those. And then that will create your little loop. And of course, you can have long or short, depending on how long you want them to dangle from the tree, like so.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got that. Then to make it into the skater boot, you can slide in your paper clip. So on your paper clip, you got yours there, Rachel?
Yeah, I have.
All right. So you should have, where the paper clip goes round and round and round, on the top, there should be a bit like a blunt bit which you can actually slide. You can see you could be able to, that bit there, you'll be able to slide through the back hole of the boot. So you'll be able to use that, where your little gap is in the seam, you'll be able to slide that through. And it should go through the end of the seam. If it doesn't go quite through because maybe you've sewn it right to the end, possibly like I have, and probably haven't given myself enough space, what you can do is just put a tiny bit your scissors through. And in fact, I think where my gap is at the front. I can get through the front. There we are. There it goes. It just slid through the back there. Have you managed to slide yours through? Hey, that's really good. I just think the little paper clip at the bottom just makes it. Now, these are slightly bigger paper clips. They're not your small box standard ones. They're the larger paper clips. But if you come across a box of them, it would be worth investing if you're going to have loads of like little ski boots, little skater boots hanging from the tree with lots of little paper clips. Or the other thing is use your tiny, small little paper clip, but just reduce the pattern and make a very small little boot, which you could reduce the pattern on a photocopier. So if you just put the photocopier, put the pattern on the photocopier, and maybe look at reducing it. Reduce it first of all by 25%. See what if it will fit. If it needs to go a little bit more, maybe go to maybe 50% and see what the pattern comes out with. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more fiddly to do, but you could have a smaller boot if you wanted to and do that. Again, you don't need a sewing machine to make these. You could, if you think going back to our blanket stitch, you could just blanket stitch all the way around the front of that felt and stop and come down the back. You could just use little hand stitches just to hold the top of the little bit around the top. You could use that as well. So it doesn't have to have a sewing machine. And in fact, if you're really sort of like really enjoy hand sewing and making little things, you could just do it with just hand stitches and a little bit of thread. I would still use the same color thread around the edge of the boot and then use a brighter color for your laces. You could further decorate this. You could put little sequins and beads around the edge here. There's so many things you could do with the pattern and do things like that. So have fun, something you could do in the evenings or something, getting ready for Christmas and prepared for just decorating a tree or whatever around the house with all these like little boots. Oh, I did forget to say, just push in your wadding, and the wadding just goes down just to fill out the bottom of the boot, so the boot just fills out like these ones with a little bit of wadding, or it could be cotton wool or a bit of tissue. It doesn't really have to be that durable. And then, but making sure you leave space inside to then put your little gifts and your sweets or whatever you're going to put in there. Okay.
I'm so happy with my boots. I love it. It's not perfect, but that, I think if anybody looked at that, they would say that is an ice skating boot.
Absolutely, Rachel. You know, and that's the first one you've made. You know,
yes!
I've made several of these. So it's just like you can make the more you make something, the quicker you're getting it, and the more accurate you'll be with your stitching. And you'll be able to practice. You know, you said like you struggled a bit with doing the lacing and how the lace would work. Well, try different ways of creating the laces, and then you'll find one that really works for you. You might have to go, you know, do a bit of look at your embroidery book or whatever to do that, but you should be able to do even simple little crosses or just a little overstitch would work quite well.
Yeah. I think that's so cool. I mean, when you said we were making these, I did get very excited. So I think they're fabulous. I think to hang those on the tree. And as you say, you can get the grandkids making those, and you could all have, you know, you could even like cut out like an applique letter and put the letter on the side for the initial for the family. So I think great fun. Yeah. Fabulous.
Exactly. Yes.
Lovely. Well, we should see the state of my room now. Honestly, I've got pin boxes open, needle boxes, I've got bits of material, but that's the sign of a good sewing class, I think. Well, thank you so much, lovely Gary. Another tea time tutorial successfully tutored at tea time. So the question is, next week, do we have any ideas?
I think next week, I think we need to get back to a little bit of drawing. We need to like chill out with a little bit of mindful, easy little bit of doodly drawing. So I'm going to find a little project for us all to do, just a little doodle type drawing, something nice and easy, something that makes us smile. That's what I think we're going to do next week.
I think that, you know, in the run up to Christmas, we all need to de-stress. And so I think a month of little mindful doodle, you know, drawing, discussion, chatettes would be lovely, actually. And then maybe we could pick up our sewing again in the new year. Maybe. Maybe we might make a Christmas bauble, a circle, sew it in a circle, easy. So we'll see. But I do hope, lovely YouTuber, that you've enjoyed the video, and do have a look at our other tea time tutorials. Do like it. If you liked it, please comment. We always read the comments, so we'll come back, and if you've got any questions, we'll be able to answer them for you. The link to download the pattern will be down below, and that's a link direct to our website, and then you'll be able to just download it for free, so you can cut out all your little bits and pieces. But I think you'll agree, that is very, very cute indeed. So thank you, and we will see you on the next tea time tutorial. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Okay, bye.